Scientific breakthroughs, the unveilings, spiritual revelations, the openings. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. First World Order Radio, Tips and Tricks Tuesdays. Blackwater, the Meta Magician. It's Tips and Tricks Tuesdays, another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse the day, just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. That pig, that's fine. Hijacking the mind. Aluminum bonds with intelligence. Rewind the message. Merry Christmas. 13 indigenous immigrants. State of the unison. Addressing nothing. Foundations can ruin. Level to level. Fuck the embezzlements. Tales from the crypt. Hitting blood rituals. 50 scores flying over California vacation. Flying dragons. Swords and daggers. Lions and tigers. Gotta get my bearings or perish. Tear into raw flesh. Vampire, vegetarian. I'm a malnutrition. Chemically imbalanced. Ethiopian. Inhaling kush. Blue projects get pushed. Move with the bush. Standing on the middle line. No defining. Swirling dervish. In between space and time. Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse the day. Just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse the day. Just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday.
Whether you suffer from pain in your back to aches in your knees, come on down and purchase you some ancestral tea to get rid of all the parasites, toxins, and fleas. Spiritual elevation for cosmic gravitation. So put away the patience, cause there's no time to be wasted. Ancestral tea, that's all you need. Ancestral tea, so you better believe. Commercial advertising for AncestralTees.com. All rights are reserved. Peace.
Warning. You have entered the realms of the gods. So give us your mind and your full attention.
So you say you deal with esoteric information? I never heard of such. Well, you're in for a treat. Blah talk, this is the blah talk. I lean El-Bey, dropping jewels every day. Blah talk, this is the blah talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. Blah talk, this is the blah talk. I lean El-Bey, dropping jewels every day. Blah talk, this is the blah talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. So you claim to be a god? Damn right I'm a god. The maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, god of the universe. Wow, I didn't know that. 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 So tune in or lose, friend. All strategies apply mathematically. The information he drop is real powerful. So get your notepad, it's more than an hour full. Watch your jaw, the crew is watching talk. Indigenous to the land wherever we stand. First world order, we bringing it home in the first quarter. Invisible lines don't apply, we cross borders. Silly rabbit, knowledge for gods. No matter where you reside, lodge, temple, or mosque. So don't fret or proceed with hesitation. Just tune in to Blog Talk to get the information. Peace.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. on First World Order Radio. I'm your host again for this Tips and Tricks Tuesday on this Tuesday evening. Here at 7 o'clock, 7 past 7 now, around the way. Glorious day, nice out, as usual. Can't complain, ain't gonna complain. Like the week, I want to give thanks. Give thanks to those who came before and those who come after. Give thanks to First World Order Radio, First World Order family. Give thanks to my Dr. Eileen and to Kadir out there. Dr. Eileen's getting a lot better. Give thanks. I also want to ask for, if you guys forgive me, I gave some misinformation about the condition of Dr. Eileen last week. In the heat of the moment, the information was, was passed down a little abruptly or whatnot, but I might have got it the wrong way and put it out there a little bit misconstrued. So he did not have an aneurysm, and he did not have a blood vessel burst. So he had taken prior to when I got there, he had taken 10 cayenne pepper capsules that helped relieve the pressure, and it also allows for that blood vessel not to burst. So he didn't have an aneurysm. Give thanks for that. All right. Well, tonight's topic is more the same. Only once again, I spoke on this last year around this time. ESTHER. So ISHTAR, ISHTAR. It's going to change, rearrange it. Metaphysical language is the retransformation. The retransformation of words. We have a differentiation of language from the point of view from the world view. You know what I'm saying? So what we transform what they've given us as far as where ESTHER is concerned, how ESTHER is concerned in layman's terms, as far as religion. There are three aspects of religion, that being the mythology or the information, the myth, the knowledge, word, as well as the ritual, the acts that we participate in throughout the cycle of the year within the religion. Then there's the metaphysical side, which would basically means it's the metaphysical side is the bridging of the information from the ritual and the myth into what we would call cosmology. And cosmology is the study of order. And it pertains to cosmic principles or cosmic forces that exist within the same realm as what we are participating with on an earthly level, as above, so below. We're going to get into that in a little second here. And also recall that religion, as far as indigenous peoples are concerned, we really don't have a religion per se. Our true religion is nature. You know what I'm saying? So the religions that we have now are based on an external deity that relates to some type of human form, whereas in the past, religion was attuned to nature and how the cyclical, repetitive motion of nature always will bring about a certain type of energy within those movements. So first thing we're going to do, a little tips and tricks is, first tips and tricks, listening to last year's Easter, Esther, and ISHTAR. It's Easter, Esther, and Easter, Ether. You know, had some eggs. It's essential, essential. But one of the things that we was talking about then was power of name and the power of words. The power of name, to name something is to have power over it. I had recommended that if you wanted to create your own like deity, something like a puppet or what they call a voodoo doll or something. You don't necessarily have to have a doll to do it. You can have a name, a spiritual name for yourself. That spiritual name is power that you can utilize and access to go and do your biddings when you are not like doing it. Useful. So you have less of a task on your hands, somewhat like multiplicity. This spiritual name is the name that you should sort of like put in your vault and lock it up so no one else will notice now. This is your own personal name. You can come up with anything, but you don't recite it to other people. You keep this name as your personal. It's very valuable to you, so it'll be your own, like personal beginning, your own personal title, to where you can access that ramp, that alternate dimension, and go in there and go through that door, open that vault up whenever you need it, and just go and do what you want to do on the other side and bring it back here and whatnot, without doing a lot of physical work. That's part of the great work, though. You know what I'm saying? So, developing a spiritual name and using that spiritual name in that sense. Remember, don't allow anyone else to know your name. It's yours, your personal name. All right. Also, you can create a whole pantheon of names of deities, like we have the tree of life or whatever, or Kabbalistic, yes, that's personally. The tree of life, and in the Kirchhoff or the Hermetic tree of life. So you can create the 9, have your own names, own attributes, everything, all that. You know what I mean? Do what you do. It's nothing. It's in stone that says one way is the right way. Tonight's ships are pertaining to processed food, processed junk food. I sent out the Enlightenment package to all the individual way to do themselves that were at the last Melanated conference. I hope that you guys received that. If you would, please let me know. You can text or send me an email to confirm. Let me know you got that. Remind me, give thanks. I know that you received that. Got your email, as well as Tamika. I'm not sure if your brother and his wife, his queen, has received theirs yet, but there we go. Also, but tonight's tips, like I said, pertain to processed food, culture processed junk food. If you didn't know, about 90% of all money. Hold on. No, I'm not going to take that call now. They don't have to text me. Okay. If I didn't know, about 90% of all the money that we spend here in America is on junk food, the processed food. And the worst part about that, 60% of it is ultra processed. All right, so what does that mean? what is ultra-processed food? So half of what the average American eats is food from the convenience store. All right? So we get food from the convenience store or the local gas station at high school. And this ultra-processed food accounts for about 9% of that intake. And that is also contributing to a lot of the sugar consumption in the U.S. as well. On average, 57.9% of the calories people eat come from this ultra-processed food. 29.6% of calories come from unprocessed or minimally processed foods, such as meats, eggs, milk, and pasta. Processed, but not ultra-processed foods like canned foods or preserved foods, cheese, and cured meats account for 9.4% of calories, and 2.9% of calories come from processed culinary ingredients like vegetable oil, table salt, and sugar. Get this though, less than 1% of our daily calories come from vegetables. 1%, less than 1%. You know what I'm saying? And one of the major dangers of this overconsumption of sugar as well as ultra-processed food is the disease statistics. So the dangers of eating all this sugar or these processed foods has been well established in America, and since the first time in the history of America or whatnot, since they've been studying this, there have been guidelines that now recommend limited sugar intake to 10% of our daily calories. That's hard to believe, but that's what they have now put out there as some type of decree, so that we would limit our daily calorie intake of sugar 10%, due to a lot of younger people getting to come in contact with diabetes 1 and 2. Almost, just think about it, almost $1 trillion each year is spent on treating sugar and junk food related disease, from obesity to diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Almost $1 trillion every year. That's $1 trillion being wasted because of unsatisfied appetite, also a binging that due to some type of emotional mishap that could trigger eating disorder. So this estimated 500,000 cancer cases worldwide each year are responsible for obesity, as well as obesity is responsible for an estimated 500,000 cancer cases a year. For over half a century, nutritional guidelines are focused on cutting saturated fat and cholesterol, and we now know that this was a very serious mistake. As fats were removed from processed fat, sugar content increased, and made food more palatable, more agreeable to taste. So sugar is the real culprit of virtually all diseases. Previously blamed on dietary fat. So we definitely should watch our sugar intake, and that's talking about any type of sugar, cane sugar, stevia. Well, stevia doesn't increase hypoglycemic. It doesn't have a hypoglycemic effect on the body. Yet certain sugars, natural sugars, do, such as diabetes. cane sugar as well. These do have a heightening effect on our glycemic thing. So what exactly is ultra-processed foods, though? Anything that isn't directly from nature or packaged by God, so to speak. So that means if it ain't coming off the vine, the bush, the tree, or it's not from the earth remotely, right from the earth directly, then it's considered processed. So that's bread, pasta, anything in the can or if it's frozen, those are processed foods. And depending on the amount of the adulteration or the alteration of the food that it goes through, it could be considered minimal or significant. The ultra-processed foods are at the far end and are significantly altered. These are a few examples of the ultra-processed foods that even I have in the past, taken on a continual basis. All right, so these are a few examples. Depending on the amount of adoration, these are a few examples right here. Breakfast cereals, pizza, chips, salty, sweet, savory snacks. You already know candy bars. They got salt and sugar in it. Packaged baked goods, those goods in the boxes, that we can bake. Microwavable frozen meals, instant soups and sauces, and much, much more. Even if it says organic or not, or USDA, non-GMO, they are still in the box or the breakfast cereals or whatever, that's still processed. There's still a lot of ingredients that the body got to figure out how to break it down, how to put together by a man, not by God, not by nature. So there's an ultra-processed food. Ultra-processed foods can be defined as food products containing several ingredients that are not traditionally used in cooking. Besides salt, sugar, oils, and fats, they can include artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, and other additives used to imitate sensorial qualities or imitate the sense of taking in the qualities of the original product or the unprocessed food. These ingredients may also be added to disguise undesirable qualities of the final product. They typically contain preservatives and chemicals that give them an unnatural long life shelf, so they can stay on the shelf for a long period of time. Also, ultra-processed foods also contain far more sugar than processed foods. The difference between processed foods and the ultra-processed foods in terms of sugar content is quite dramatic. Researchers found that about 2% of the calories in processed foods come from added sugars. By definition, unprocessed or minimally processed contain none. Ultra-processed foods are, on the other hand, they have 21%. On the other hand, have 21% of their calories from added sugar. Increasing the consumption of ultra-processed foods can be an effective way of reducing the excess intake of added sugars in the U.S. Positive note, as the state said, the researchers also found that there were significant differences in how much ultra-processed foods people ate. 1 in 5 people, about 60 million Americans, actually got more than 70% of their calories from real food. In other words, unprocessed or minimally processed, and only 30% from ultra-processed foods. As noted by Time Magazine, 7.5% of the people with the lowest processed food consumption actually met the federal dietary recommendation of eating no more than 10% of their daily calories. So if people avoid processed foods, it's possible to reach recommended nutritional requirements. So I guess that's that ray of hope right there. Eating a diet consisting of 90% of real food and only 10% of less processed food is a doable goal for most that could make a significant difference in our weight and overall health. So 90% of real food, 10% of 10% or less processed food. And if it is processed, make sure it does have a non-GMO on the label, as well as USDA and organic. Just be on the safe side. Don't buy a Reese's cup and Milky Way. Get something. If it's going to be processed, like a canned vegetables, or don't get that Campbell's. Get the good stuff, Amy's or something. I'm not sure. But at least if you're going to get a canned vegetables or anything out of the frozen food section, make sure you, like I said, USDA, non-GMO, and organic. Then that's only 10%. 9% should be real food, cooked if possible. Raw food, drink it. Chew your drink and eat. Chew your drink and drink your food. We went over that the other week. It's like, chew your food about 50-some times. You get a lot of saliva buildup in your mouth, so the food will break down properly by way of those enzymes that are introduced to initiate in the mouth first. Then, commence to swallow it and allow it to go to the stomach with those other enzymes. Patelin and pepsin are going to be introduced to the food to allow that to break down the protein. Foods such as white bread, puffed white cereal are highly refined, which is why researchers are just swapping them out for whole wheat or pumping them for bread to pasta. Anything white ain't right. We have an old standing, what I'm saying? So it's also equivalent to smoking cigarettes, those type of food, like high carb or carb-rich food can affect the lungs. Foods such as potatoes, bagels, breakfast cereals. Those also decrease glycemic index. Is the tips for today. Be very wise and observant of what we're putting in like that, like processed foods in retrospect, especially those not carbs, but those processed foods that are highly processed foods. Those again, those ultra processed foods are particular pizza, junk foods, basically pizza, pasta, bread, cereals, sodas, chips, salty sweet snacks, packaged goods, microwavable, frozen meals, instant soups and sauces. So remember, ultra-processed foods and processed foods are basically foods that were packaged by man, not by nature. If we want to consume food, which we do on a day-to-day, majority of the majority of the world, we definitely need to, be very observant and have a little discipline within that aspect, and just put in more raw food, basically. You know? That's what God intended. Or that's what nature intended. That's what we produced as far as being a kid on the external. Produce nature. As nature has produced us, and on a give and take relationship, we should access nature and become accustomed to just being accordant and live within that realm, just flow with it, be a part of it, and be the flow. You know what I'm saying? And that's and then being just a part of that flow and being the flow, we should also participate with it properly, and that would be like, you know, taking it from that stuff like that on a day to day. You think for that information, I just ran across it a couple of weeks ago, and because I noticed I was one of the women putting on a little weight. And I know I was eating. I don't know, I had an emotional disorder, I guess. Again, I'm gonna blame it on that as an excuse, but I started eating a little off my diet a little bit, even though it was USDA, non-GMO and organic. I was eating cookies and ice cream all the time and things like that from day to day. I ain't really get overweight, but I was putting on weight. But things, we got over that. But a high fiber diet would also help, and also chia seeds, digestive enzymes. Chia seeds are very good because it has fiber. Berries have fiber. Vegetables are good. Almonds, you do your thing with that. Walnuts, things like that. Essential fatty acids, flaxseed oil, cycling seed husk, beans or legumes in general. Those are very good. High fiber, soluble as well as soluble. So try to remember to take in whole foods versus empty foods. Whole foods contain all the natural elements that nature intended us for us to have versus the empty foods or the denatured food items that we may partake in and put in our body. Contributing to the divine soul means we're putting something into the body that is going to either enhance the divine soul or limit it to its function. Right? And also, I wanted to mention that we're going to be going on a 3-day no talking fast starting tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to stop. I'm not going to speak for 3 days. That'll be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On the last day, I'm going to do a water fast or watermelon fast, as well as the enema. So y'all know that public enema is going to cleanse out the remainder. It's always wise to do that, do twice a month. I tend to do it twice a month, as I mentioned before. So if y'all want to participate with that, that's a 3-day no talking fast. Reason being, I've done it before. I've done it a few times. But last year, I think I did it for 7 days. Might have fell off. Then on one of those days, I had to regroup and not, I think I took in, did another day within that on the following week. But at any rate, y'all want to join in, it's a good thing. Because what's going on by not speaking, you regain certain energies. Whatever we do, it don't matter what we're doing, walking, talking, crying, laughing. It exerts energy. So sometimes it's not really necessary to do a lot of talking. A lot of people don't know that, but it does. When it's time for it, it's time and place for everything. Then get it in. And I do like to talk. Sometimes I talk to myself. I didn't go say I like to talk, but sometimes it's good to be able to give information to those that are seeking it, and that is a passion of mine to bring that information. It's not about talking, but just hearing myself speak. It's the sense of the quality of the other individual groups are being there and appreciating that information, and also seeing the light turn on, and then like it turned on to me the first time I heard it from somewhere, and I get thanks, Yeah, still, sometimes we may not need to always have the words. Sometimes people don't always necessarily have to talk, or in that sense. Like I said, it is energy being used. So, sometimes throughout the year, pick a day or two where we can sit in silence and meditate, gather your thoughts, then relocate those thoughts outside of the words of the view of the world, and then we transform those words or whatnot into your own reality, build off of that. So yeah, I'm gonna go into a 3-day fast, a no talking fast starting on Friday. Rekindle some of that energy, going through a transition into spring now. So, jumping out of winter into spring, or spring out of winter into the vernal equinox now, to where we are. It's a good thing to settle your thoughts and just gather that energy from the previous few months to see what the fruition is, see what we have birthed it, without really being too aggressive with our thoughts. Okay, so, join in if you want. All right. So today's topic again, like I said, is Easter, ISHTAR, or Easter, ESTHER, Easter, ESTHER, ESTHER, Ether, Essence, eggs, egg of creation, egg. So let's look at that word Easter, ESTHER, ESTHER, or ESTHER, ESTHER. I mean throne, life, throne of life. And I guess also Happy Easter is in order, right? Happy Easter. Yeah. All right. But Happy Easter, happy one sons of Haru, but happy means is another name for now, river, and stir, or Ashtar, great storm. Happy water is a great storm. That's basically sunlight. One of the main aspects of Easter is fertility. and the earth is fertile or fertilized or made impregnated by sunlight directly. So sunlight, ESTHER, the great star, ISHTAR. Happy ESTHER is the great water, or the water of the great star, comes down within spring and impregnates the planet Earth, immaculate conception, so to speak. And then we have the fruition, or we have cultivation in spring, where the crops or the vegetation, the life begins to bud and sprout forth. We also deal with fertility. The fertility is based on the deities of the ancient pantheons, such as in Egypt, Greece. We have Heteru, Hathor, Kemet. Heteru means the house of light, and that is where one would gestate the creation or the manifestation. House of light being located in the lower abdomen region, sacral region. And what we know is the sacral beetle. The sacral beetle would, for the dung beetle, would grab a ball of dung and push it down in a hole. And then after a few days, the beetle would have babies come out the hole. Dung beetle will push that ball to represent the egg, with the egg creation. Eggs, what does the eggs and rabbits have to do with Easter in the first place, right? It's like we have a particular type of system in America. It's really based on ancient cults or ancient rites in different mystery systems as well as spiritual systems, but they're based on natural representations that were particularly pertaining to a cosmological reflection. And remember, cosmology is the study of order, of principles and forces that are in conjunction on the higher plane and the lower plane, or as opposed to below. So we participate with certain dates, the planetary level, that coincide with different aspects of cyclical movements in the cosmos. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn, as well as other aspects. But remember, Easter is never on a fixed date. That's how you also know it's a ritual. Easter is always going to be the first Sunday following the first full moon after the vernal equinox, spring equinox. So we had the spring equinox last week, that was Saturday, and then the full moon, if I'm not mistaken, was on that Sunday, and then the following Sunday was Easter, or yesterday was 2 days ago was Easter. It always falls in between. I think it's going to be like the 30th of March all the way up to the 25th, something like that, of April, that we'll have Easter. It won't be on a fixed date per se, like Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Christmas is always the 25th. Easter won't follow. Won't follow on a fixed date. But as far as like why eggs and rabbits, eggs a representative of new life. So when Easter does spring, it brings about new life. And winter is representative of death. So that could also be the hidden light. That death. Remember, in winter we're dealing with kidney energy. So kidney energy is water, also a set or the seat, but it's also the essence. The essence being the hidden light, and that essence is also could be represented of melanin, that hidden light. So for myrrh meaning great sea, and then lady, the great lady, the queen of the great sea. Then you have going to spring. Spring energy is spring's organ system is the liver. The liver is holding blood, storing blood, and that could be represented by clean light, blood, physical reality. And the deity of the liver is Ma'at, and that's clean light or order. So from the hidden light to the clean light, that is also representative of. So resurrection is spring, and death is winter. All right. So and also you gotta look back. You look back at November, the Last Supper. Last Supper is when they say Osar or whatnot was mastered or assassinated by Satan. The spirituals co-conspired against the king, and then he was buried and whatnot in the Great Sea or the Nile. But that is representative of planting the seed, and then watching it, go through the cycle of death and then into resurrection. It was planted and hidden or planted in the ground or whatnot, then it comes back into life or light within a 3 month to 6 month period from autumn to spring. Also, we got the Peter bunny rabbit thing going on in the Easter egg. So that, what does that really signify or whatever? Back in the day, we had different customs, being different systems of thought. So, some of them that in Persia, some they utilize eggs from both new life. They would paint them, hang them around doors and whatnot. And, so they would use those eggs to symbolize the new creation or new life. The eggs also was also the emblem of the germinating life, the early spring. And you also remember we called it Haru. The symbol it had symbol of the rabbit as well. The rabbit is also a symbol of fertility. And the egg is a symbol of new life. The rabbit has it propagates an enormous amount of seed for offspring. It forms a lot of little bunnies. And the occult meaning of mystic egg of Astarte or ISHTAR, they also had the reference to the ark, time of the flood. So what that was pertaining to is how the human race was set up in the ark or in the egg. So floated on the waters of the universe, the whole of the earth was inside of this egg, the egg creation. So the water of the universe, or the universal sea, is representative of that melanin again, Mara, that's mean or melanin, the lady of the great sea, or the black queen, water queen. And the egg creation is representative of particle. As we have mentioned before, Mem, Alif, Noon, Mem being Asif, or dark matter. That's also equivalent to the waveform. Alif, that's Asir, dark energy, and that's can be equated to the infinite field or the quantum field. And then Haru, or Mean, that's Haru, that can be equated to the particle, that is light or physical reality, the atom. So dark energy, dark matter, and particle. And that's how that particle is representative of the egg. As you know, there are two birth dates assigned to so-called Buddhism and the Christian faith. The first one that we normally participate with as the birthday is the winter solstice. The other one is the vernal equinox, and the winter solstice is the 25th, and the other one is latter is vernal equinox. These are the double Haru, the double light. Haru 50. Haru 50, 2 light, 2 double light. Haru meaning light. So, the part says that I said, birth Haru, the child of the time of the winter solstice, and that this festival of the second, or the adult Haru, follows the vernal equinox. So therefore, the winter solstice means field, and spring equinox means equal day and night, assigned to the one birthday of Yeshua of Jesus by the forefathers of what we call the Christian Church, which naturally applies to the two Harus, or the dual aspects of the Son, God, Shemin. As hold on. Also, we have an expression that we say is when someone passes over or passes away, we call it, they passed on. When they transition, we call it, say they passed away. The ancient ancestors said they passed over one life to another. And this is the coming of spring, that the sun is resurrected from the death of winter to the new life of spring. But this is also why in Christianity they celebrate the resurrection with the sunrise service at Easter. You celebrating the same transition as the Passover. That sunrise service at Easter commemorate the sun becoming more prevalent in spring. So that means more activity. So we're dealing with liver and heart and blood. The liver stores blood again. That's my absolute. And that's the order of life, the balancing of life. Passover metaphysically symbolizes that the mind is set on high things, on the high understanding and overstanding that the enduring life is spiritual, both within and without. Then the germ, or the particle, is saved from destruction. When it is retained in the organism, it goes through a regenerating process. It's multiplied, and regenerating process is applied, and eventually it strengthens the whole man. That's the whole message, the hologram. And, the hologram requires what? Light, right? So that's blood. And remember where that blood is stored within our semen as men, as well as in woman's ovaries. So the more that man embarks on animalistic type of life, where one exchanges that blood or discharges that blood, it will be a generation in place of a regenerating process. But as it goes through a regenerating process, it multiplies, and then when it is applied effectively, it eventually strengthens the whole man. In every change of consciousness on the physical plane, there is a breaking down of cells and the building up of other cells, and the building up of other cells to take their place. When we let go of the animal life and hold up the spiritual life by giving up consciousness and passing over the process, which takes place when the old cells are replaced by the new, this refers to the complete surrender of the human life after it has been purified by the fires of regeneration. Violence presents positive, affirmative state of mind as opposed to the negative or watery state, meaning the emotional state. Let's not get twisted, though. The watery state is not negative. What we're speaking on here is the negative relation to one who is abruptly or unattentivedly sometimes controlled by emotion. If we'll go back to the speaking of this fire, I had a dream the other day, a couple of dreams. Seems my dreams are coming back. I had lost them for a minute, like a couple of months ago. Other thing, I just might have been had died. What I was eating for a minute. Like I said, I was eating a little weird for a minute, and eating at the wrong time of the day too. Where I would eat clock 9 o'clock. Sometimes I'd be up 2 in the morning, and our body might be woke, but the spirit or the intelligence within that actually keeping everything together will be knocked out. My body trying to tell me to stay up, but being stubborn and my ego, whatever you want to call it, keeping me up and moving. I get things that didn't go through too much. I had a little issue the other day, I think Friday, and it was all, we went to the mountains, got some of that fresh air up there, did some cheat guns, and just relaxed. Came back, I was good, jumping around and stuff now. So good. Thanks for those modalities, because it helped purge out that whatever was going on. I'm trying to tell you, I couldn't move. That's another reason that I decided to do a talking fast. I didn't talk that whole day on Friday. Well, not the whole day, the majority of the day. Rested, just sat, and didn't eat. Didn't want to eat. It was really effective. I felt like I was going to transition myself because it was funny. I get thanks, you know what I'm saying. But like I said, I had a couple of dreams. One of them, I was in the kitchen at one of the old houses that I stayed in back in the day, in the 70s and 80s. I don't know, I remember. And was in the kitchen and my sisters and something hot cooking. They wanted me to empty the grease, and when I picked the pan up, as soon as I said it's the grease hot, I spilled the grease all over the floor, but it fell through the cracks of the vent or something. Went down into the wood. I don't know how I seen all that, but then I knew it was on fire and smoke came up and we looking for a fire extinguisher, found a couple of them, spraying and everything. But then, then I woke up or something like that in that dream. But speaking on fire in the house, so, house, we was in the house in the kitchen. The heart represents the kitchen. Like in feng shui, the heart, that's the root, kitchen, center. You know what I'm saying? So the house has the root. That's the vehicle as well, though, but it has the root. That's the house of light. The house of light or the house of fire. All right. So then it hits the flow. That's the base. The fire is hitting the floor, the base. Now to the base chakra, the root chakra, the fire, and the energy, the smoke was rising up. You know what I'm saying? So you spilled out that pan. Pan, that's the earth, Pangea. All right, so great earth. And so I was like, is it hot? Next thing you know, yeah, it's hot. And it burned through the floor or came up. So what the ancestors trying to tell me, I guess, was because properly, I had another thing, but the ancestors trying to tell me that the energy is coming up properly, I guess, or just saying that, I don't know, trying to tell me that, but you know how you go into that sleep state or the subconscious realm where all the answers reside through the ancestors, by way of that Ankh star and our astral traveler. But the dream that I had prior to that, the day before while we was in the mountains, it was the same night that I decided not to move too much and speak too much and everything. And I ain't had no energy and nothing. So I was in the dream state. I was at my mom's house, and I had on a T-shirt that had the family on it. It was an old T-shirt that my dad used to have, and it had the whole family with children on it at Thanksgiving. I had my cousins and my grandma, everybody, uncles, and my mom's on the T-shirt. And we were all, the children were young then, but we were all sitting there at the table or at the round table eating Thanksgiving. So the reason the dream was particularly strange, not really strange, but I had a T-shirt on and I was about to walk up the steps right here. We were at my mom's house, and I looked up with my dad. He said, looked at the T-shirt and put it. He said, where you find that T-shirt at? And I looked at it, I was like, I don't know, I just put it on in the room. Then he walked away, went in the bedroom and laid down. I'm like, well, hold on. My pop's going. So he passed away. He already changed this. What are you doing? I think I'm still in the real world. You know how it is in dreams sometimes. So I went and followed him in the bedroom, and he laying down on the bed. I said, is he breathing? I thought that dude passed away. So I looked at his chest, he was breathing. He had a newspaper on his chest. And, I'm like, man, what's up? And then I woke up, something like that. All right, so, then I came to the woke state, dream state here. But, so, I was like, what that mean? Then I thought about it. Oh, yeah, that's right. When one of your loved ones passed away, or that's Jesus or whatever, being resurrected within the DNA, the ancestors, the Ankh star, or whatnot, and all that. So that energy of my father came through and was like, you see that round table, that's family, Thanksgiving, you plant a seed, you know what I mean, you get things, Thanksgiving, and then that circle represents unity, represents balance. That's my eye. That's that's collective ability to have a universal type of bond within the structure of family. The family is all, can't exclude nothing in the universal scheme of things. And I know individuals we are a universe, but as a collective, we are a universe as well. As within, so without, you do need to sometimes negate some of the bias that might our journey. So what I was getting out the dream, whether the ancestors maybe what they're giving me as an answer to the question, basically it was in that moment of necessity where I needed some energy. That was what was given. You know what I'm saying? When I saw my father on the bed breathing, I was like, "What are you breathing?" But that breath is in essence intelligence. Yet I was like lacking breath, and for a few. And what I did though that night, from a recommendation of one of my students, like when I trained my brother Shaheed, he wants to do extended pasta. I was like, man, you right. If I can give it him, that's who the mountains with my brother and my sister get things, and her two sons as well. They went up there and we had a nice time. Good vibes and everything. We went to a waterfall up there and did some cheat guns the next day. But that night, that initially I hit the 8th and pasta was about 11 o'clock. So we went back to bed and I had that dream. That's when I saw my pops on the bed breathing. So that's like saying, oh yeah, you got your breath back. There you go. Let's keep it moving. So get thanks. So that's that fire, representing the positives on that side as it moves up and that kind of lean upon the energy, that moves up and turns on the switch of the pineal gland and activates that movement, that first movement, that primordial, what's it called, primordial mobile. In ESTHER, though, ESTHER, ISHTAR, by the Webster Dictionary, term is the name of a pagan vernal festival that existed way before what we call the Christian Easter. Easter is the center of the greater part of the ecclesiastical year. The apostolic fathers did not mention it in the New Testament or in any way. It is actually an adaptation spoke on before of the ancient Kemetic Spring Festival. The ancient Kemetic records indicate that the Egyptian Spring Festival was existing at least since the Old Kingdom. The purpose of this festival was and is the renewal of nature in the springtime, when life returning once again to the world. ISHTAR represents the cyclical nature of the universe, the principle that makes life come from apparent death. It was that natural ability or that natural cycle of Osiris going into the death state and then being identified as winter, then coming back into the resurrected state and being identified as spring, which is believed to have risen from the dead. But Easter is a celebration of the resurrection of Osiris or Haru, the sun. They're not. All right. So hopefully for me. That would cut the egg. Okay, I actually something on not cut the cheese, but cut the egg on the misinterpretation of the egg and the Easter bringing somewhat of Easter. Speak on what? Esther. What? That is cutting through. Esther star, or the star that represents star, Easter, Venus, representing happiness and good fortune. Esther was a beautiful Israelite woman who became the queen of Asuerus. That's Ahasuerus. So we have Esther as her. The As meaning the seat, her meaning the face, so the face of the seat, or the face of the throne, face of meditation, basically. Then Osiris, Osiris is the king, Persian at that time. And that's also equivalent to Osir, or seer. Osiris and Esther. Esther married, became the queen of King Osiris into the king being in search of a new queen after his queen at that time, Vashti, did not come when he had beckoned her. So she didn't move promptly enough. She didn't move fast enough. So he summoned all the virgins of that area and allowed them to stay at the harems, or these little houses where women would stay. They were secluded in the house, away from everyone else at the castle, and they would stay there and be prepared for the king. So she was living there, and one day he finally got to meet her, and he saw that she was the fairest one, the prettiest one, and he was pleased by her and decided to marry. So he chose her for his queen, and they eventually got married. Her original name in Hebraic is Hadassah. Hadassah means myrtle beach, but a myrtle is a flower, a type of plant that gives forth purplish black berries. The white plant that gives forth purplish black berries. So that has a high value of melanin on that purple and black right there. But that's Esther, and Esther, or ISHTAR, Esther, the name, the origin of Hadassah, like I said, Hebrew, means myrtle. The name Easter should be derived from a Median word, Ashtar, meaning myrtle, but an alternative view that Esther is Proto-Semitic, the root Asta, and it made me star, morning or evening star, equivalent to Venus, which extended with the TH into the Ugaritic Astaturata in the Arabian Ashtar. The Ashtar derivation must then have been secondary to to not be confused with them, at least both represented by values in Akkadian, but at least for Ayin, those A words in Hebrew. And the second concept is descended from S, but after the bright star, not to get too much into grammar. Alright. So that word Esther derived from Hebrew, also from not Hebrew, but Aramaic ISHTAR, meaning bright star. Or the morning star. And then we remember the story on Nimrod and Semiramis. Nimrod is the father of Cush. Well, Cush is the father of Nimrod, and Nimrod came he was like a great warrior on the earth, but he was a mighty hunter. But like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord, the first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, Shinar. And from that land, he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh, and Rabbah, Calneh, and Reza, which is between Nineveh and Calneh. Nimrod was slain by Shem, Noah's son. Shem, the truth of Ham, dark, black, and we call Cush also. The other alternate name of Cush is Ethiopia, given by the Greeks. Ethos, Athos, meaning burnt out space, but ether also relates to Easter, also Esther. Ether, the etheric body. Remember, the etheric body has two dual aspects, the doubles. So the one aspect of the etheric body is the 1 inch covering that is the template or almost the identical of the physical body or biological body that resides 1 inch outside of the body. Then the other aspect of the etheric body is the egg shape that is emanating out of the body and out of the etheric double or template that resembles the same shape of the physical body, and that shape is the shape of an egg. It's called the aura, but that's in the shape of the egg. The etheric double or twin. One of the stories has Tammuz being the son of Nimrod. The son of Nimrod is Semiramis. Tammuz means spot of light in accordance to Akkadian script, Sumerian, Phoenician at the dialect. But also, Tammuz is very similar genetically to Thomas. Thomas meaning twin in Hebrew. A twin is the doppelganger, but twin is also twin of the human body. The human, or the physical body, the biological body, has that shape around it. That is that template. It's almost identical to the physical body that resides 1 inch out of, and that's the etheric double. The doppelganger, the twin. And then the egg is also there outside of that, the egg-shaped aspect of the etheric body, that is the aura. Then we go into the astral body, in conjunction to the mind, more so than the physical aspect of the body. It's more related to the mental. And that's not, we're not going to be carried away into the myth. The myths are based on information that ties ritual to the metaphysical side. And remember, we don't have a natural way of being is not, we don't deal with religions in the same perspective as what the world views. You know, intelligently speaking, when we treat intelligence as direct information, also bridge to indirect information, then we will have a sufficient amount of what's called pattern. And, you know, pattern is information, and information is energy, right? So therefore, knowledge is power. So when we have the correct amount, or the correct information, or the intelligence and the pattern of that intelligence is sufficient, then what we will gain is a complexity of pattern or intelligence or energy that will not become complacent or confusing. And what I said probably was confusing. So basically what I'm saying is when we have obtained the right amount of information or intelligence and it's properly, digested, whatnot, and we can break it down and assimilate those properties or the elementals within that intelligence properly, then what we obtain from that will become cultivated. And that's what the cults were based on. They say cult, and then we think automatically, they worshiping the devil or something. Cult, we heard the story, but cult ties into culture, and that ties into cultivation. So that's talking about, again, fruition and growth and the pattern of that cyclical, those cyclical events of nature or nature, So, speaking on fruition and fertility, as far as like with these, like in the ancient Near East, where harvesting first arose in the earliest times came to be, back in the day, it was based on foraging and hunting. It wasn't just based on foraging and hunting, it's also on planting and harvesting crops. So with the great and good Mother Earth as the main provider of sustenance, and the sun as the giver of the light to bring about the sustenance, it was then that fertility rights were developed. These are the basic rights of civilization, due to agriculture being one of the most important properties of propagating life and bringing life and keeping life flowing. So they know that just by watching nature, watching the animals they eat good fertile food. From the earth naturally. So they developed rituals that had something to do with plowing and seeding and reaping and getting the first fruits of those parts of the season, like spring. So we had fertility rights. Speaking on fertility rights, the other day I was speaking with someone, and we started talking about they started talking about dancing, and it was a young man, you know, whatnot. It was a good conversation, but started speaking on dance. I walked in on conversation, and I was doing my meeting and a half at first, but the spirit came in, you know. So what he was saying was that because they was watching something on YouTube, I think, or something like that. They was watching some dancing, and a little girl, or a young lady, she was maybe 9 years old, and she was dancing, I guess, somewhat in a very, in his eyes, promiscuous, lustful, distasteful type of way. And he said that she needed more clothes on, and that he wouldn't allow if he had a daughter, he wouldn't allow his daughter to get up there and dance like that, and everything, which made sense. You know what I'm saying? I can vibe with that somewhat from my own, you know, just coming from the view of holistically speaking, and how dance arrived. You know, initially it was, you know, like fertility rites. We had fertility dances, you know, as far as, and it's still to this day in indigenous groups, they have the fertility rites that where we would dance in, you know, circles or whatnot, different patterns, and move in a certain way of nature, like you know, move in the spiraling Kundalini type of movement. You know, moving the hips, the legs, you know, the arms, all the way up, just moving in that pattern. And to the untrained mind, untrained eye, this could be a very seductive, lustful type of dance, you know. So I informed them that, you know, when we were in our natural setting, our natural habitat, we had a means and way of speaking to nature and to each other through dance, as well as other means, you know, music and all type of other means of communication. But, you know, right the passage of dance, the woman would, you know, move and gyrate her hips in the pattern of life, you know what I'm saying, and how the DNA was moved, you know what I'm saying, or how life is naturally flowing. He was saying it was, you know, the way the 9-year-old was dancing was too seductive. And so, like I said, I informed him that, you know, it's one of the most natural ways to express oneself when done properly, and when looked upon it properly, it's very creative. It's very good for spread, you know, for a younger generation to have an outlet to express themselves in a way, especially if it's done in a controlled manner. If the parents are allowing it, and it ain't like that parent, that 9-year-old daughter, that 9-year-old mother, and her father or whatnot are not feeling her to sex. You know, I wouldn't imagine. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying though. But what I got out of it is that when one is complaining, those complaints are normally based on their own insecurity that stem from inner weakness. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, in this situation, maybe the individuated dual self has an issue with younger women due to not going through the rites of passage as we did in, you know, the past or whatever, going through those initiation systems where we have learned to grab that monkey and tame the beast within, to where when we can view the world properly, or participate with the world properly without having a reactive mind on a lustful or on a more gained type of reaction, where it's based on the senses and the arrival of what the memory triggers have only allowed through the personality that's formed through repetition, that is basically oriented around a lustful eye or a sentient eye. And that's Sahu man. Sahu man has not yet became a sure man. Sahu man is dealing with, it's right there in the realm of will, but that is the physical will or willpower, not spiritual will, when one acts the intelligence properly and utilized in this, in this to and fro or whatever throughout this physical domain, the matrix, the grid. So when one is still locked in that prism, those seven folds, then yeah, it can seem to be seductive because they haven't, for one, studied self long enough to notice that, this is something we've been doing. When we had clothes on. Because in our natural habitat, we just like nature. The clothes we came in was our skin, just like that bird, that tree. The bird ain't complaining about, give me a shirt. Good day, my feathers. If somebody can see me, that bird ain't said nothing about giving me some pants, man. Look at my bird. I'm bird naked. You know what I'm saying? So, as humans, we looked at each other some time ago. I don't know, somebody somewhere came out the cave or something. And like, I'm naked. Nigga put a fig tree on my groin, on my loin. But that's, that's not either here or there. I'm not just saying. So if one is complaining about certain situations, it may be due to an insecurity or a weakness that they're participating with that may be dormant and they haven't yet resolved. And I know this for a fact because I'm like that. I may still be like that, like with my children. I see certain things and qualities in myself within them, and I'm like, I don't want them to know how to be doing that, so that's a insecurity in me or weakness within myself that I might complain to them about the fix. You know what I'm saying? Because I got that weak. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to read this. This is something I wrote a minute ago called Complain or Committed. All right, so complain or committed. Quite too often we have an emotionally negative way of reacting to any given situation that represents itself internally or externally. These impulsive emotional reactions are normally stimulated by active internal dialogue. That is to say, what we continuously broadcast to ourselves in our mind via thought, word, which in essence births the action in daily activities. When the individual is perpetually magnetized to transmit complaints outwardly, it can be determined that this is produced due to certain thoughts, memories, and feelings that serve as placeholders in forming their personality. Our personalities are generally molded by external inputs, or what some term as indoctrination, which in actuality means to teach in or to put in. This description is denoted as the worldview personality and has all the elements of deliberate mind control tactics that infuse the unaware subject's conscious as well as subconscious mind with an abundance of socially engineered propaganda-oriented information that is deemed to stir the active participant into an unorganized, stress-producing, fear-enhanced, perverse lifestyle. One's livelihood, whether it be happy or sad, successful or unsuccessful, is solely dependent on their personal reflection towards who they think they are. If this reflection is founded on the public opinion of society and not a natural, innate truth called common sense, born within the natural breath and blood of every living person on the planet, then the outward expression of the personality will show as confusion, emotionality, aggression, perversion, anxiety, stagnation, etc., etc. On the other hand, when a person consciously observes his or her thoughts, words, and actions, they discover their center, equilibrium, or inner peace by negating reactions that are fueled by the worldview personality. In turn, utilize common sense proactive measures. This outward expression of the personality will show as comprehension, self-control, love, compassion, peace, elevation, and so on. Complaining versus commending, as each complaint is focused on giving power, complaining versus commending, as each complaint is focused on giving power for my attention, it destroys the structure of love, truth, peace, 5 pillars of Islam, the foundational precepts of moral science, and the fundamental Kamatian principle of Ma'at. Each complaint is also additional pressure from the stress released into the mental, emotional, as well as the biological body, which eventually leads to degenerative results in these three avenues of life. Revising the complaint into commendation by allowing oneself an appropriate amount of time to consciously attend to the thought without impulsively reacting on the memory triggered by the worldview personality. Then, with one's awareness accepting the thought as being present yet transient and not permanent. Thirdly, after reviewing the thought, transform the wordage used to describe the negative complaint into a peaceful, compassionate, and uplifting commendation. For example, if I lost my job, I don't want to jump into the worldview reactive personality mode. I open the door of resolution by being proactive in my thoughts and words, by communicating positive thoughts, like this job must not be for me. There's something better out there for me, or I've learned a lot by working in this field for this amount of time. In doing so, we will enhance the life-giving spirit, the intelligence, into moving our lives towards greater in place of backwards towards lesser. Give thanks. That's called complain or commend. Something I do together. We're not really do together. Give thanks to the pipe down. If you didn't know, like I mentioned before, I like to write. I am, someone called a writer, and I like to put things together. I'm still piecing some things together right now for a little book, little book. So it's coming together, all right. Things with that right there was complaining or comedian. And I just brought that in due to what we were speaking on the fertility rights and how I had a conversation with my brother. He seemed to be complaining about something when we need, like I said, we need to slow down our reactive mind. And, some of it is due, I'm not blaming him. It's not him that was reactive. It's really the world view and the personality that has been molded around the world. Our personality is not truly who we are. It's part of it, but it's not us. The personality, or what some term the ego, is important, but it's not the most important aspect of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? The personality is like from 0 to 21 or 14, really. But a lot of us are still dealing with that 14-year-old mind state, having grown into a higher sense, into a higher state of perceiving ourselves in this reality as something greater than what the reality is deemed upon us, and so determined to keep us in that mold, in that egg, and not breaking out of that egg into a new life, So that was just, I think we should really pay attention to the whole story, the whole message, not just, half the message. That, that's why the hologram or whatever you call it, it's not the whole message right now. It's half truth. So some of the information that we are getting out here now today is just called disclosure, as we have been told back in the, like, going through that whole situation in 2012, and they were speaking of disclosure and how it was time for more of the hidden information to be brought forth to the table. All right, so some of that is taking place now. So, I'm getting some of it. Give thanks, and what little I get, I'm gonna definitely sprinkle y'all with it too. You know what I mean? Get some of that good water and sunlight. I ain't gonna sit down and like I'm gonna hide this, hide those feet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hide it. Y'all got feet for it. Nah. Go ahead, and if you're seeking, ain't no reason to hide. I was seeking, for a minute. I was trying to hide the see. It ain't, I had to go knocking on doors. You ain't know? Oh, there you go. Speaking on the egg again, the court meeting of the missing egg, as we were saying earlier, I had two different sides. Oh, we spoke on that. Yeah. But speaking of ESTHER, we spoke on different aspects of ESTHER as well. We got into Tammuz. As we recall back in the movie Ancient, dude's name, Neo's name, his government name was Thomas Anderson. And Tammuz. Thomas means twin, also sprout of life, Tammuz, and their son, Ander, meaning man, son, Ander, because we're talking about the Neanderthal, Neander, and Neanderthal means new man, kind of man, Neander. So, Ander, son, Ander meaning man. Thomas, so sprout of life. So son of man, the sprout of life and son of man. Son of man, so called Jesus. But Yeshua, but the son of man, that is you, that is I, that is us, that is Yeshua. Thomas also a twin, so that could be the son of man, the twin of the son of man, Thomas Anderson. Then it goes into Neo, meaning new. We're talking about the egg. The egg is representative or represents new life. Going into spring, so that new life is taking on Osur or Geb. Geb is the green one. And I think another name, like going to April 1st, April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day also had another dual meaning, and it was the operation of going into spring as well, where it's called the green fool. He was called the green fool or the green one. And the green one again is the Geb, though. We talk about fertility and life coming, once again, comes back into the arena of life, or life, so that we have vegetation and the abundance of crops. That's fertility. Yeah. A few myths and legends were connected with the sun worshiping, and also Tammuz. In Hebrew, according to Ezekiel 8:14, this being a great admonition, the outer sense and the intellectual man's worship of the great giver of life, light, and fire of life, since man does not comprehend the whole true source of the light and the substance of all that gives growth fruition and perfection. Man only perceives the outer channel avenue of activity, then in turn worships. This gives him the whole of his attention and thought. So, therefore, he does not experience the unchanging, unlimited intelligence as the ever-present source of sustenance of his greatness. Man believes that the blessings of his life, as well as that which gives them to him, come and go, and that he lacks any type of sufficient in himself to give himself any type of substance. This suggests by the women who were mourning the departure of the sun in the wintertime, when the rays fails to keep the earth warm in every part, and it stops vegetation growing. Later, they would express great gladness over the return of in spring. This shows how the spiritually unawakened individual is bound by the outer appearance of things, and the uncertainty and lack thereof. He is not sure of the continuation of his health, the supply of abundance of vegetation or life, and or any other blessing. And this is then in turn given over to an emotional exchange, and their own nature is expressed by the way of life externally, meaning that we get caught up on external tricknology, in place of true knowledge, truth. So when we get caught up on the things outside and the external things, we look at, it's cold outside, don't go outside and get sick. Or, it's too hot outside, we'll go outside and get sick. So we can follow the cyclical events properly, we will always have keep that weight chi, that protective layer, the protective chi going, and we won't become so we may not have that effect as much, those splits or those different exchanges and transitions within each cycle. That will also show in our growth process on a manifestation. Sometimes we have a little sickness or a little cold in our manifestation. Even, when we ain't sick internally, it is shown the external or whatever. Follow that cycle properly. Good things grow as far as our fruition. Out of the non-comedy, non meaning wise, calm, black or dark, and mighty, guide. So it's the wise black guide. All right. So the wise black guide or the dark black guide. The wise dark guide. I say guide, because guide and God, and I say it sounds similar. If I just say guide, that's how I say guide. So I put that I and put an emphasis on it. So it's the wise dark guide. All right. The Gospel of Thomas, as we know, Thomas means twin again. There was a traditional saying that Jesus said Thomas was the brother of Jesus, twin brother of Jesus, so to speak, was the father of the Church of the East, particularly of Odessa. Pardon me. And he also traveled to India. This is out of the non-comedy states right here. It says, Jesus said, now the sower went out, took a handful of seed, and scattered them. Some fell on the road. The bird came and gathered them up. Others fell on rock and did not take the root in the soil and did not produce ears. And others fell thorns. Worms ate them. And others fell in the good soil and it produced good fruit. It bore 60 per measure and 120 per measure. When the grains ripened, he came quickly with a sickle in his hand and reaped it. Whoever had ears to hear, let him hear. Jesus saw infants being suckled. He said to his disciples, infants being suckled are like those who enter the kingdom. They said to him, shall we then as children enter the kingdom? Jesus said to them, when you make the two one, when you make the outside and the outside like the inside and the above like the below, and when you make the male and the female one, the same, so that the male not be male, nor the female. And when you fashion the eyes in place of an eye, and the hand in place of a hand, the foot in place of a foot, and a likeness in place of a likeness, then will you enter the kingdom. So what is that saying is, go up here, and the soul went out to the handful of seeds and scattered them. Some fell on the road. The bird came and gathered them up. All right, so it fell on the road. The road, the spine. Okay, you know, like in Damascus, you had the two female energy, Mary Magdalene sitting on the road, representing Eden and Gala, to sacral nerves. So, but I took a handful of the seeds of that energy, that cerebral spinal fluid, scattered them on the road. Bird came, gathered them up. Took them up on high. Spread the wings up there. Others fell on the rock. The rock did not take the root in the soil and did not produce ears. Didn't produce any corn or any type of grain. That rock is the unfertile base chakra when the energy is not risen properly. Others fell on thorns. They choked the seeds and worms are them. That same still in the lower base reality, the undulating area of Sea of Galilee. We got parasites, but not dwelling within the intestinal tract. It chokes the seed and won't allow the propagation or the correct movement and assimilation of the nutrients to be responsible for it. And then in turn, it won't get to the cells, and so be responsible for it won't have the ability to take that energy back up to power foundation. And the others fell on good soil. Bore 60 measure and 120 per measure, so that those properties went back up into the area of palm glass. Oh, pardon me. Ooh, yes, Lord. That's the third yawn. I hope I ain't contagious with the yawn. All right, so then from there, it states right here, let it, for whoever has ears, let him hear. We had that sickle in his hand. When the grains ripened, he came quickly with the sickle in his hand and reaped it. Then it states about the infant, and it says, when we make the outside like the inside and above like the below, we can make the male and female one. And then we can fashion our eyes in place of an eye, and the hand in place of a hand, and the foot in place of a foot, the life in place of life. And then we continue. So I'm saying when we take on the new body, the new Jerusalem, new city, which is pertaining to, getting into that light body. Having those disciplines and taking in and accumulating that or whatnot that's fine, and putting that light in to the cells through the activity of thought, as well as through good food, good people around, good energy, and just discipline oneself in certain patterns that are not particularly same patterns that we've been following. That goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the seed and how we tend to pay more attention to the external in place of going through the process of passing over or the transition. In training means basically, again, in meaning within, train meaning transition, and ease meaning to complete. So it's the complete vision within in training. So when we are in training, we are going through the process and function of completing the transition within. And this refers to the complete surrender of the human life after it has been purified by the fires of regeneration. So that's going to be into purifying, going through different techniques or whatever to bring about the quality of that energy, obtain, retain, and cultivate, through different meditative or deep breathing exercises, as well as like being asking my eye or stabilizing the heart to live in truth. That's another reason why, the no talking fast is prevalent and very popular. It's very powerful because it's also a practice of that non-emotionality or non-reactive mind, and it requires one to stabilize the emotions because you don't want to talk. I mean, I get a notebook, so when I do need to communicate with someone, I just have my pen and pad right there, and I'll jot it down. Otherwise, I'm really observant of my of what I am communicating mentally, and I notice where I would have reacted with some type of verbalization or some type of reactive community, where I would actually, go into a correspondence with someone, a vernacular correspondence, what we call it, with someone. I call it an elevated vernacular correspondence. Yet, I notice, sometimes I might not go into that room, what I'm saying? As we mentioned before, we knocking on the door, trying to go to a room to get an answer on the other side, this physical door, whatever, mental door, yet still what we should reflect on is that the answer is already there on the other side of the door. Sometimes we just knocking, with this question or whatever, and we might get frustrated or somewhat overtaken by emotion. No one comes to the door or whatever, we're going to give up and walk the other way. But just remember that just because we don't see the answer, but the ancestor, our star, is always there on the other side of the door. So we had an answer because we already on the other side of the door too. We're just doing a physical thing. And remember, the physical thing slows down in interpretation. Another good reason, like good Dr. Valentine stated, always you spiritualize everything. Put intelligence in everything. See the matrix. See those zeros and ones within all life. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, we won't be so caught up on the perpetual physical movement or just dealing with the emotions that are based on, sensory perception and false sense of gratification. So when we are caught up on what it tastes like, look like, smell like, sound like, feel like, the senses are running the show. The emotions are running the show. So it's like being observant of what we're saying. It slows down that reactive mind, and that builds up the ability of chi, or that fire that represents the affirmative state of mind, and the energy is accessed and then lifted up properly through the Sushumana by way of, the Ida and Agala, then going back with with 1,000 lotus petals, and we reawaken out of that muddy clay or that muddy, swampy, watery state with chaos. But basically, that's dark energy, dark matter. You know what I'm saying? That's creation. That if we want to speak on it in that aspect as well. But it's all love. It's not like chaos. Like, this is what we're going through now as far as what we're looking at externally, because we are perpetually, being manipulated by external means that are based on fear, not love. So when we are overtaken by what seems to be true or reality given to us by the media and those who are in the seats of power, so to speak, that control what the media is going to deliberately deliver to the masses, then they're going to keep fear going as long as we buy into it. It's the same as, so to speak, with these holidays, So, like, think about the holidays. Who is really gaining anything out of so-called holy days, whether like New Year's, Valentine's, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, who and Sunday, even Sunday worship every Sunday, but who's getting anything out of the powers that be, basically. What happens is that what we do Easter? We go shopping. We go get new dresses and like my friend said, 12-piece suits. I was like, well, 12-piece? Yeah. But we go get these ruffle socks and make sure our little daughters are dressed in the prettiest pink, purple, yellow, green dresses and everything, and make sure our sons have the blue suit, purple, white suit on, and if I ain't have money to get Christmas, I got some money to get the Easter suit to go to church on Sunday, that Easter Sunday, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we spend money, you know what I'm saying? So the powers that be are the ones who are gaining something outside of this, these holy days, you know what I'm saying? Because on Valentine's Day, what we do, we go get chocolate. We go get cards, On Thanksgiving, what do? We get big meals. We watch Super Bowl, bet on it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, not Super Bowl, some kind of games that come on, basketball and football stuff. Halloween candy, Christmas, same thing, gifts, you know what I'm saying? So we are participating with these days, and in accordance to reactive mind, we are being controlled and manipulated to spend $1 that don't exist in the first place to create power and wealth for those that are in seats of power and keep that perpetual door open of control, as well as of them usurping our power by way of our attention. And remember, like they said before, our mind is our wallet, and our attention is our money. So we need to watch what we're paying attention to. So every time we dip into, or someone dips into our mind and takes our attention, they're taking one of the most valuable aspect of our life, a 10 shine. A 10, again, is, Atanara. 10 meaning spirit or life. Going back to Ankh, to the Ankh. Shin meaning spirit, as well as cycle of divinity, or the infinite cycle. So tension. So when our spirit of life, with our life cycle is being obstructed or blocked by way of, the teacher saying pay attention and putting the finger or his finger at the chalkboard and telling us to watch this blank slate and erase our mind, or, brainwashes from the age of 5 all the way through so-called school, high school or low school or Shahil, school. Then what happens is the reality that we are participating with. This is the deliberate dumbing down of the world in general, not America alone, but deliberate dumbing down of the world. Block the access of our mental acuity and elasticity. Don't allow us to initiate the stretching of the mind. So now, this is some of the littlest stuff that we do, like participate with these holidays, so-called holy days, even in the sense of doing it on a more holistic measure. We do what we do. Do what you got to do. Do it and do it well. You know what I'm saying? Just, know sometimes don't do nothing. So I'm going to give away one of my tips and tricks. This is one of the tricks, pertaining to magic or not, or whatnot. We look at magic in different ways. But one way to look at magic is the art of making change in reality by will and imagination. So when we can make active change by using any type of technique or by consciously using our perception, it can change, it can alter our reality. You know what I'm saying? And that's by way of spiritual will, not just willpower, but spiritual will, and by way of the imagination. So this information can give us that bridge that it can, put us on that path to where we can change our reality by way of what we call magic. But what we are doing in that process is bettering ourselves by not following suit some of the worldviews or some of the actions that everyone else is participating with at that set date, as far as ritual is concerned. Sometimes, when these things occur, most times, my birthday, I didn't participate. I don't tell nobody when my birthday is. I just walk away from it. I might do some 2 days afterwards, but in general, for the last year, it's not mentioned 4 or 5 to someone a couple times. But, it's just getting caught up on what I perceive to be me gets in the way of me being truthful to myself. When you acknowledge yourself, that self ain't got nothing really to do with the lower sense perception of who personality or who I think I am in my personality. It has it's subtle parts of that personality that we can contribute, or that will contribute to our growth process in the now sense. Yet I don't want to live in the past with that personality, because that's not, in essence, who I am. For instance, real quick before I close out, I mentioned that I was going through the process of, I guess you'd say, getting employed by one of the community colleges out here. So that package was denied. I was denied employment at that college due to past history. They did a criminal background check on me, and they found that I had some F's, some felonies or whatever. So they was like, "We're sorry, Mr. Elohee, El-Bey, you're not going to be able to be, get hired by us due to your past history. We're sorry to say this, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they act like they really wanted me to come out there. They were overwhelmed, with the information I'm bringing towards the table. I'm speaking to the administration. They like, wow, this nigga knows some shit. I ain't never heard the word. I'm talking about parasympathetic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, autonomic nervous system, pineal gland, pituitary gland, melatonin, serotonin, all this good stuff, Wei Chi, Qigong, Tai Chi Chuan, showing the stuff. And they're like, wow, we don't know none of this. This nigga, he knows his stuff. But then they called me. I could almost hear the somberness in her voice when she told me. But this goes to say what I mentioned, what reflects on how, certain things in my past, in my personality that I grew with are not necessarily who I am. That's something that person did. That's the straw man. You know what I mean? I copyrighted that dude. That dude's gonna file, on paper or whatever, but that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't deny the fact that I went through it, and I ain't gonna say no, and I ain't gonna be remorseful about it, because if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be the guy that I am today. So I give thanks to the ancestors to allow me to go through the experience of life to be able to see both sides of that bridge. And I ain't gonna burn the bridge I came over on. I'm gonna look behind me to see how far I come. Give thanks. But, the system ain't so lenient. You know what I mean? I was telling myself for a while anyway, when I said I want to give back to the community, I didn't really necessarily mean to that side of the community in a whole. I want to give back to everybody. I'm not biased, you know what I'm saying? So, still the ancestors move in certain ways, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes what we thinking is bad is good, but everything is good is all good. But in that saying, all in all, what I'm saying is that we do not have to live in the past, because the past is only there to show us what we went through to become who we are now. I've said it before, I'm not going to stay in the past thinking about that, and I ain't going to be moving in the future dwelling on that, because then I'm going to be displaced out of what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? What's always happening right now is that moment, and that's the infinite moment, remember? So that infinite moment is always residing. It's always going on. And if I'm so caught up in yesterday, then what may need to be taken care of right at this moment, I might neglect. You know what I mean? I might not pick that piece of paper up, or I might not see that individuated through itself that may give some type of elevation or upliftment to the reality that I myself is dealing with, as well as others around. Because everyone is interconnected. We all are here in the same exchange of this internal, infinite, immortal, hidden light of the intelligence. You know what I'm saying? That is the internal. That is the internal and external knowing, dark energy, dark matter, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's us in our exchange of that from high to low. You know? So giving our attention to those different rituals without having the metaphysical representation or the metaphysical language, again, being the retransformation of words. You know what I'm saying? Words can have a very powerful effect honest. And again, remember, words are only letters put together, you know. So they're basically symbols. And within those symbols, symbol, you know, bow, Lord, Sim, Spirit, you know what I'm saying? Spirit of the Lord, if I'm not mistaken. So as these symbols are being formulated together into what we call words, they can have a direct access to our subconscious nature to where it can be manipulated or altered on a good way or one way what we call a negative way. You know what I'm saying? And how does it be noticed? Because we taught them, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So they deliberately confuse us with words. So it's good to study the words and break them down into another system of language. Language doesn't always have to be in movement as well. You know, the first language was the most primitive language is dealing with the art complex, reptilian brain, and the movement of the body. You know what I'm saying? Or the way some snares. You know, that in turn makes the body move, which I rate the stuff. So, you know, sometimes what we listening to and going by or off of, we need to really pay attention again internally in our observation before we go out to participate with that information. Good Lord. And some of the information that's being brought forth to the table in all aspects of reality, ultimate and, you know, what we have to gain reality, can be viewed in different ways. We need to discern between those means and measures, and then, you know, in our discernment, we got it, and we don't become so much as, you know, dictated by the information. You know what I'm saying? Remember, none of this stuff is here for us to say this is it. Ain't no other way. That man said it this way. That woman said it this way. This is the way it got to be. That, you know, as Dr. Eileen taught me and others that he has spoken to, it's your soapbox. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your soapbox. Do what you got. You know what I mean? That's why I give thanks to that brother, because he showed me a different way of going about being who you are, truthfully. You ain't got to be up under, we shouldn't be up under our teachers there in that manner. Because then you won't become your own. You're going to become the person you're around. You know how it is when you're around somebody a long period of time. He's like a man and woman that's married. They tend to start acting like, looking like, being like each other. So it's the same way with everything else. If I'm around someone like that I look up to, then I'm going to eventually start speaking like them, teaching like them, whatnot. In turn, it would not be 100% of knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? We take on certain qualities as well as information, but we need to, when we take it on, we put it into the web of our own creation, and then in turn we build and can, you know, disseminate the information from there. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's how you know, brothers and sisters out there. You know, there's some good brothers and sisters out there. Some of us looking for somebody to tell what to do. You know what I mean? I know. I like to teach and stuff, but I ain't looking for nobody to be no daddy to. You know what I'm saying? And hold their hand while they walk across the street. You know, all the stuff that we come to the table with, basically, I'm trying not to buy it, but basically, it's for y'all to go out there and do it yourself. You know, so this can take home information, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really go over any meditation today, but, you know, when we're doing the meditation days, you can get meditations off the internet, basically just sit still and breathe, you know what I mean? Mindfulness. Ain't got to go through no whole exercise or nothing like that. Just, you know, get those counts where you feel comfortable with them and build up the quality of your chi, your kundalini, the prana energy or whatever. Get it going properly internally so that your external reality have that interconnection between, because there's an interface that's going on at all times of all reality. You know what I'm saying? It's permeating all things in existence. You know what I'm saying? These overtones are always right there. It's infinite. It ain't going nowhere. So it's right under our nose, like I always say, you know what I'm saying? The main thing that we are neglecting has always been there, right under our nose, and that's the breath. That's the intelligence. You know what I'm saying? You know, we get caught up on extraterrestrials flying around in spaceships. We get caught up on government manipulation. We get caught up on relationships with our, you know, significant others. We get caught up on friends and what I'm going to eat next week. You know what I'm saying? And all in all, we forget and neglect, or at times we don't even comprehend the importance of the breath, you know, and just being relaxed in the breath or in that moment. Because that moment, there's a breath, you know, with every thought, there's a breath attached. With every breath, there's a thought attached. And it's going straight into the cells. So if I'm so caught up on next week's dinner plan, I'm not focusing on my deep conscious breathing, just relaxing in the moment, and when that day comes, you know, I'll move naturally with it. I went from there to there as far as the rituals and myths. I hope that, and yeah, I know, you know, some of the information that we spoke on tonight may not be pertaining to exactly all of ESTHER, ESTHER, and ISHTAR or ESTHER. Yeah, it did. In most reflect, you know, if I didn't play it back, I don't know. It's all good because even what I'm about to play right now, I'm going to and give thanks to Anonymous. If anyone has questions, please deep in and chime in. I just took a sip of this watermelon drink I made earlier. I had my ants for the day, my feeling of black ants. You know, I'm still on them black ants. Give thanks. Things will be all right. But before we fade out, play or replay something that I put out there a couple of days ago on black holes. You know, black hole, big circle in space, big edge. So happy Easter. You know what I'm saying? Easter again, ISHTAR, the great star, happy water, so the water, the great star. All right.
Number 25. Black holes affect time. Just as a clock runs a bit slower closer to sea level than up on a space station, clocks would run really slow near black holes. It all has to do with gravity. Number 24. They can be infinitely big, or so some theories state, but without a doubt, when it comes to something of this nature, there are scientists on both sides of the fence. Number 23. The nearest black hole to Earth is 1,600 light years away. Our galaxy is covered in black holes, but the one most likely to destroy our measly planet is still well beyond our solar system's borders. Number 22. Stay away from the event horizon. The event horizon, as it's called in physics, is the border of the black hole. It's the point of no return. Before that point, you can still escape. After that point, not a chance. Number 21. There's a massive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. It's 30,000 light years away and is over 30 million times as massive as our sun. Number 20. Black holes eventually evaporate. Although common knowledge states that nothing can escape a black hole, at least one thing does: radiation. According to some scientists, as black holes emit radiation, they're losing mass. This process has the potential to eventually kill the black hole. Number 19. Black holes are not infinitely small. At some point, the collapsing core of a black hole becomes even smaller than an atom or an electron, and eventually it reaches its Planck length, a quantum size limit that makes it barely measurable. Number 18. Black holes are not funnel-shaped. In most textbooks, you'll probably see black holes that look like funnels. This is because they're being illustrated from the perspective of gravity wells. In reality, they're probably more spherical than anything. Number 17. Black holes spin. When the core of a star collapses, the star rotates faster and faster and becomes smaller and smaller. When it reaches the point where it doesn't have enough mass to become a black hole, it gets squeezed together to form a neutron star and continues to spin rapidly. The same applies to black holes. Even when the black hole shrinks to its Planck length, it continues to spin rapidly. Number 16. Things get weird when they get near a black hole. Black holes have the capacity to distort space itself, and as they continue to spin, that distortion gets just as distorted. It's an infinite regression of distortions. Number 15. Getting near a black hole can kill you in horrible ways. Although it seems obvious that a black hole is incompatible with life, most people think they would just get crushed. This isn't necessarily the case. You would most likely get stretched to death, because whatever part of your body reaches the event horizon first will experience significantly more gravity. Number 14. Black holes aren't always black. Although they're known for their blackness, as we said earlier, they actually do emit electromagnetic radiation. Number 13. Black holes aren't necessarily only destructive. Of course, in most circumstances, they probably would be, but there have been numerous theories, studies, and suggestions put forth that black holes can actually be harnessed for things like power and space travel. Number 12. Black holes can get really big. Although we just talked about how small they are, black holes get larger and larger as they collide with other black holes, allowing their size to increase with every collision. Number 11. There are different kinds of black holes. Modern astronomers have shown that black holes actually come in different variations. There's spinning black holes, electrical black holes, and spinning electrical black holes. The type of black hole depends on the amount of energy it puts out when it distorts space. Number 10. It was not Albert Einstein that discovered black holes. Albert Einstein only revived the theory of black holes in 1916. Long before that, in 1783, a scientist named John Mitchell actually developed the theory after he wondered whether a gravitational force could be so strong that even light particles couldn't escape. Number 9. Black holes can be very dense. To have enough gravity to pull even light into itself, a black hole has to contain an incredible amount of mass in an extremely small space. This means that black holes must have a mass of about 10 to 30 billion times that of the Sun. Number 8. Black holes are noisy. Okay, although the vacuum of space doesn't really allow for sound waves, if you listened with special instruments, you would hear a staticky sound. When a black hole pulls something in, its event horizon supercharges the speed of particles close to the speed of light, which produces this sound. Number 7. Nothing can escape the pull of a black hole. Okay, that sounds obvious by this point, but we would like to introduce the caveat, unless it can move faster than the speed of light. Number 6. Black holes might create elements that make life possible. Researchers say that black holes create elements as they break down matter into subatomic particles. These particles have the ability to create elements heavier than helium, such as iron and carbon, as well as many others that are essential to the formation of life. Number 5. White holes. Black holes are best known for sucking up everything that gets near their event horizons. Once mass gets into a black hole, it gets squashed so hard that its individual components become compressed and eventually break down into subatomic particles. Some scientists theorize that the matter is then ejected in a phenomenon known as a white hole. Number 4. Any matter can become a black hole. Technically speaking, stars aren't the only things that can become black holes. If your car keys were shrunk down to an infinitesimally small point and still retained all of their mass, their density would reach astronomical levels, which would make the force of their gravity ridiculously strong. Number 3. The laws of physics break down at the center of a black hole. According to theories, matter within a black hole is crushed to infinite density, and space and time cease to exist. When this happens, the law of physics break down because it's not really humanly possible to conceive of anything with zero volume and an infinite density. Number 2. There is no tunnel at the center of a black hole. As we said earlier, contrary to popular belief that there's a tunnel in the middle of every black hole, all that exists at the center of a black hole is a massive amount of matter compressed infinitely. And number 1. Black holes determine the number of stars. According to some scientists, the number of stars in the universe is limited by the number of black holes. This is due to the way they affect gas clouds and element formation within the parts of the universe known to produce new stars.
Yeah, so black holes, spinning, electric, yeah, all type of black holes. Spherical shaped, circle shape, not so much as a funnel. What type of black hole are you? You know what I'm saying? He said black holes are not just breakable down to an infinite small densities, and it would create or generate a black hole or a black dot, so to speak. So, you know what I'm saying? For a black hole, go begin lighting down, and be 30 that down, and light back outward. And they've also admitted black holes do put light sound back out. But we'll get into that again. But it's another blog that I've done before called What's the Point, as well as From the Sea to the Fire. The reason being I'm going to do some of these over, I had one of my sisters mentioned that some of the dialogue in a few of the previous broadcasts was kind of shady. So I'm gonna go back over some of those to where we can have a better audio, you know what I'm saying, participation with it, so you can hear information correctly. If we did it the first time around, and maybe it may be even better this time, the second time around. You know, sometimes I say always better the second time around. I don't know, maybe that. But at any rate, give thanks to the one tonight. Going into that 3-day fast, no talking fast tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. Yeah, thanks. Pray for me. It's going to be cool. You know, that 7-day one last year was kind of rough. That's the first time I did it for that long. But, you know, it's going to be fun. So I ain't complaining. Commend or complain, right? All right. See you guys here, you know, next week. I shall be here. If not, you'll know when you don't hear from me, but all in all, always in there. Close out with a little something. This is what it is. All right. Peace, prosperity, protection, and good health.
Nothing. Expect nothing. 3 seconds soul. Some more of that water right here. Some more of that pure. Yeah, you know, something fresh for you. Cup of cold water on a hot day, you know, refreshing. Glass light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim don't miss, nah, my aim won't miss. Hammer fist clenched, sting you with the ring of men. The scars you bring, yeah, that's a small thing. Rejuvenate myself, something like the swamp thing. I'm a gorilla in the mist, I the ape, monkey king. It's a dark night in hell, like Batman and the Joker. bam, boom, bang. I stay laced up and loped up like a bamboo string. Me and that chick, we can get close up like my tampon string. Dose up when you toast up. I have you dozed up with your toes up. Don't front like you ain't froze up. Like a dick when they seen the dump truck. Yeah, I'm that dumb fuck in the corner with the dunce hat and the steel bat. You can fight back, but I bite back like two pit bulls in the death match. Give me my life back, I'm about to hype that. Black and mild, cause I need my breath back. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim don't miss, nah, my aim won't miss. Hammer fist clenched, black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim won't miss, my aim don't miss. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. You don't miss the water until the well run dry. I think I misspelled it, let me dot that I. Hammer fist just nailed you, now you crucified. Split you in the fractions like a piece of pie. Nah, this ain't school, but class stay in session. I empty that tool like a long shot guess. Adjusting my sight while checking the wind's direction. Watch where you're stepping, I move stealthily, modern warfare. Stroking with my left hand while my right pull your horse hair. You wanna fight? Expect nothing, don't warfare. I eat gas, breathe fire, and explode air. I'm the red dragon in this golden lair, and it's the golden year. You cold in fear with frozen tears. I'm on the pier with Otis and Tupac, smoking L's and drinking ice cold beers. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim don't miss, nah, my aim won't miss. Hammer fist clenched, black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim won't miss, my aim don't miss. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim don't miss, nah, my aim won't miss. Hammer fist clenched, black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim don't miss, my aim don't miss. My aim don't miss. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. Black light lit, hammer fist clenched. My aim won't miss, nah, my aim don't miss. Hammer fist clenched.
Scientific breakthroughs, the unveilings, spiritual revelations, the openings. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. First World Order Radio, Tips and Tricks Tuesdays. Black Water, the Meta Magician. It's Tips and Tricks Tuesday, another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse the day, just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. That pig, that's fine. Hijacking the mind. Aluminum bonds with intelligence. Rewind the message. Merry Christmas. 13 indigenous immigrants. State of the unison. Addressing nothing. Foundations can ruin. Level to level. Fuck the embezzlements. Tales from the crypt. Hitting blood rituals. 50 scores flying over California vacation. Flying dragons. Swords and daggers. Lions and tigers. Gotta get my bearings or perish. Tear into raw flesh. Vampire, vegetarian. I'm a malnutrition. Chemically imbalanced. Ethiopian. Inhaling kush. Blue projects get pushed. Move with the bush. Standing on the middle line. No defining. Swirling dervish. In between space and time. Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Another news day. North, east, west, south. Not here to confuse the day. Just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday.